What's up, Wednesday, everybody? It is another beautiful Wednesday. It is getting chilly in Tennessee, so you're going to see me a lot in hoodies over the next few weeks, months. October is an interesting month for me. It is an awareness month of a lot of different things, and I'll get into that in a moment. I've got a few things to share about what's going on in business, and then we'll get into a personal story as well. But let's start with the business stuff. So, business stuff that's going on. There's a lot of traveling going on. I think I'm going to wind up being in the DC area next month. I'm going to be in Dallas doing a keynote for an organization, some book signings, that kind of thing. I'll be doing that in a couple of weeks. Then I've got a keynote I just booked. I don't know if I can tell you where, but it's very tropical and warm. That's a good keynote that I'll be doing. I think I'll be doing a book signing there too. So some really cool stuff like that. I don't remember what else is on the calendar. I got Florida coming up. Got Atlanta coming up. Some really good conferences right around the corner. I know January, February is right around the corner. There's going to be some good stuff. Holidays, obviously, getting ready. But I'm really psyched about the keynotes that we've booked recently. Those are going to be a whole lot of fun. So that's some business updates real quick. Interesting calls with clients this week. I'm going to be doing some more middleman strategy videos in the near future because, man, there's some BS going around this market that I want to help clear up because I think people are doing a disservice in this market, and I'm going to be doing some videos because I've had some really interesting email exchanges this week. And then one of the business tips that I have, difference between you and where you want to be in the next 12 months, how many meetings you have. That's right to the point, really, really simple. More meetings you have, the more opportunities you will create, the more conversations you have, the more opportunity to find opportunities to meet teaming partners, all that kind of good stuff. So that's on the business side. So let's talk October for a minute. So October is awareness month for a whole slew of things. The one that is near and dear to my heart for a couple of reasons is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And the reason this one's near and dear to my heart is my personal story of going through that. And I'll get to that in a minute here. But I don't know if everybody here knows that for the better part of a decade, it's because of my personal story, I helped run a domestic violence program in the county that we were in Illinois. My wife was involved as a volunteer. Then I got involved as a volunteer. Then I became president of the board and helped run that organization for, what seemed like a short eternity, because when you're dealing with domestic violence issues, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. I'll just say that it's a lot of work, and you get emotionally involved, and it's quite draining. That's a good way to put it. But we did a lot of good work, helping a lot of families in a really small community. And I think that's one of the reasons why awareness is so important, because people think, oh, nice small community, something that looks like out of a Norman Rockwell painting or something like that, or Mayberry, right? Like, how could they have a huge domestic violence issue? And when we ran the numbers, there was no difference in the percentage of domestic violence in our county as in any other county in the state. It was right on par, which is sad in a lot of ways, right? It's a high number. Like, you wouldn't think the number is as high as it is, but it's pretty wild. And what most people don't know, and it's part of why I am passionate about the awareness side of it, is that men often are silent victims in that. And they go through it and they think, for whatever reason, whether, I'm a tough guy, or, hey, I shouldn't, complain about this, or there's a lot of reasons why men never speak up about it. And so I always want to bring awareness to that, because anyone can be abused. Anybody can. And so my situation, and this is my story a little bit of it. My situation was right out of high school, I wound up getting married. And we weren't married for 2 or 3 weeks. And this person went from being very nice to me and everything, to yelling a lot, screaming a lot. Went from that to calling me names. Went from that to there was some financial like control and things that got implemented that I wasn't prepared for. Like it was just odd. And then it started to accelerate. She got very aggressive, trying to hit me and things like that, throwing things at me. And we're talking in the span of a few weeks. Um, and that continued on. And I was just like, man, what is wrong with this? Why is she treating me this way? And all, what did I do? Right. There was a lot of that. And it continued to accelerate to a point where it was not like a once a week, it was a daily thing. And then it culminated in I was sitting in this event where I was sitting at her mom's house, and I won't get into all the details, but the punchline here is she walked out of a room with a gun and pointed it at my head. And it's the only time in my life, out of 4 years being in the Army, it's the only time in my life anyone's ever pointed a gun at me. And I remember thinking, I got to get the hell out of here. That was the only thing across my mind. And so I did. I very calmly, very politely, didn't say anything, got up, gathered my stuff, said, hey, I'm going to go back to our place and pick up the movies and take those back before I go to work, because that was back when you had Blockbuster and all that, and you'd take movies back. I was like, I'm going to go grab the movies, take them back, and go to work. And oddly enough, I did. I went back to the house, gathered the movies, but I also gathered a bag of everything of mine that I could possibly fit into a couple of bags, threw them in the car, left, and never went back. And that is not what a lot of people do. What a lot of people do is they stick with it, and they wind up, in years of just torture, mental, physical, financial, isolation. There's all kind of torture that happens in domestic violence situations. And so I was smart enough over the course of a couple of months watching it accelerate to go, I got to get out of this and move on. And that's actually what spurred me into joining the military. Was I was like, I got to get away from here. And so I joined the Army and left. And there's a lot more to the story on the back end. But my point here is anybody can go through this stuff. Men, women, doesn't really matter. Doesn't matter if you're rich or if you're poor. When we were running that program in that county, it would blow your mind the amount of public figures that their spouse, whether it was male or female, were dealing with something along the lines of domestic violence. Mayors of towns, high profile citizens in the towns, and people in the trailer park. It really didn't matter. It didn't matter how much money you had. It didn't matter where you came from. Didn't matter what color you were. Didn't matter. The numbers were about the same. And that's the awareness piece that a lot of people knows. You never know. There could be somebody close to you, a friend, somebody suffering from something. There's a lot of warning signs. And so as we're wrapping up October, I thought it would be a disservice not to talk about this and just let people know, keep your eyes open. Keep your eyes open. Be kind to a friend who may need your help, because it's really, really hard to get out of those situations for most people, especially if they have children. And so just be aware, be a friend, and know that there are a lot of resources wherever you live to help people. We'll see you next Wednesday.